welcome to today's League of Legends Roundup, where we cover MSI Finals of 2022 in Korea. So this came out just about like we expected, a close series between RNG and T1. RNG taking it in Game 5. Definitely two different ways of playing the early game in this one, and we'll go over that throughout. If you weren't up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's the point of this video, giving you a recap of the games. So you hypothetically don't have to watch the first 4 games. I would still recommend watching Game 5 because that was the decider. But nevertheless, let's get into it. So Game 1, RNG opened it up with a level 1. I've said all tournament long, no one's doing level 1s. RNG, this was the 3rd level 1 they did, I believe. So they were the team that wanted to set the tone. Nothing happened until 7 minutes after that. RNG would go bot lane and get a kill, then take a mountain with the prio. 14 minutes, there'd be a skirmish in top 2-2, and laning phase would end at 15 minutes. RNG up 4-2 in kills. T1 1.5k up. Ming 0-1-4 on the Nautilus. Ming ends up being MVP. I had a really tough time deciding an MVP in this one. You know, there's two ways of thinking. Do you pick a player that was good for all series long, or do you pick the person that you would argue won Game 5? So that's kind of the deal, this situation here. So Ming did show up big in Game 1, though, early game. 16 minutes, RNG go bot again. That leads to pry over Hextech Drake. Game slows down at 22 minutes. RNG go to Ocean Soul Point, winning a fight 3-1. Bin with a double. Bin was massive in Game 1 on the Gwen. He ends up with 13 kills. Bin then solo kills Zeus. RNG are now up at 24 minutes, 9-3. Gold's close, but Bin is 5-0-2 on the Gwen. RNG take Ocean Soul outright. When they do take Soul, T1 try and take Baron on the turn. When they do that, RNG steal it. A fight that goes 2-2 after. Gumayushi and Bin with doubles. RNG are now up 2k gold. Bin then outplays a 2v1, getting a double kill during the Baron. RNG then get another pick, and at 32 minutes, RNG win a fight in the river 5-1. Bin with a triple. Sorry about that. Now on to Game 2. Actually, 5-1 in the river. Bin triple kill. Ends 19-6. Oh, I did this again, darn it. So, in the early game, first 15 minutes, RNG were 2 for 4 on their attempts to make a play. Very active. Wei was active all 5 games in this series. Whereas T1 were not. Let's just put it simply like that. T1 0 for 1 on their attempts to make a play. RNG do not end on the Baron. Game 2, they flip sides. T1 ends up coming out on top 15-5. It starts off with RNG going top lane with a trade of kills 1 for 1. 6 minutes, Zeus would then outplay a gank. T1 winning that fight 2-0 overall. RNG take a mountain opposite side of the rift. RNG return top lane again at 11 minutes. So within the first 11 minutes, RNG go top 3 times. 12 minutes, RNG get a kill in mid, and Gumayushi would solo kill Gala and bot. And Zeus would solo kill Bin at 13 minutes. So Zeus, with all the ganks towards his lane, still solo killed Bin at 13 minutes. So the top laners exchanging solo kills in the first 2 games. T1 are up 5-3, 2.5k gold at 14 minutes. During laning phase, RNG are 1 for 3 on their attempts to make a play. T1 0 for 1 once again. Game slows way down. Between 13 and 21 minutes, we have no kills. The teams exchange Drakes. RNG taking an Ocean, T1 taking a Hextech. The kill drought would end at 21 minutes with T1 getting a pick. 22 minutes, RNG take a Baron after winning a fight 2-0. So they take a Baron, win the fight 2-0. However, T1 punish them around the Baron, at that moment they punish them. T1 winning the fight 4-1. Faker and Gumayushi both with doubles. That means RNG are only down 4k gold, and Wei is the only one with the Baron at the time. Guma is 3-0-2. Wei is 3-1-2 after that Baron has been taken. T1 up 10-5. And then T1 end the game at 25 minutes, 3-0 in the river. Guma with all 3 kills around the Drake. Final score 15-5, like I said. Back and forth. I keep checking to make sure I'm on this screen. I'm worried that I might come off of it. Game 3, back and forth. It just continues, the back and forth. Blue side was the strong side for sure. I do believe that T1, I'll get into the outro. I think T1 kind of screwed this game up in draft. Even on red side, they could have done better. So game 3, RNG get first blood at 3 minutes in the jungle. They made a constant effort in game 3 to get owner behind, and it would work. T1 go bot, RNG go mid at 6 minutes. Gala solo kills Guma at 7. So game 2, Guma solo kills Gala. Next game, opposite occurs. At 9 minutes, RNG win a fight in mid 4-2. Way with a triple. RNG then get a pick, take an ocean, dive bot at 12 minutes, and at 13 minutes, laning phase had ended with RNG up 9-3, 4.5k gold. Way 5-0-1, so Way is cruising on the Viego, absolutely dominating game 3. During laning phase, RNG are 1 for 3, T1 are 1 for 1 on their attempts to make a play. RNG then take a mountain. At 18 minutes, RNG win a fight in top 2-1. The game slows down. RNG then win a fight for Hextech Soul Point at 23 minutes, 5-2. Bin, Way, and Gumayushi all with double kills. This leads to RNG taking a Baron. They won a fight. They got Prio over the Baron. Then they won a fight 2-0, took it, and then won a fight afterwards 2-1. That gave them a 6.5k gold lead. After this is all done, you have the Hextech Soul Point fight. You have the Baron fight. RNG are up 20-7 in kills. Way is 7-0-5. 26 minutes, T1 get a pick. Slows down the Baron. And then at 28 minutes, RNG win a fight 4-0. Gala with a triple to push to end. Final score 24-8. RNG 0 for 1 on the power play, but they would end shortly thereafter. Game 4, not a lot written here. This was the slowest game of the series. 5 minutes, RNG would go top, and then we wouldn't have another kill after 5 minutes until 19 minutes. During that time period, the teams would exchange Drakes. RNG taking a mountain, T1 taking an ocean, and at 19 minutes, RNG would get a pick. T1 extending a gold lead throughout this time, so at 20 minutes, they're up 2.5k, so I mean, that's really nothing. But T1 are out farming RNG, winning lanes, taking plates. The game is still slow, so we have a kill at 5 minutes, 19 minutes, and then we have to wait till 27 minutes for our third time where somebody gets killed. T1 had taken an Infernal, so this was for Infernal Soul Point. T1 winning the fight 5-1, Owner and Faker with doubles, gets them to Soul Point. They take a Baron off of that fight because everyone's dead, so they go take a Baron, up 6k gold, and then end with the Baron 3-0 in River, Faker with a double. Final score only 10-3. During laning phase, T1 were 0 for 2 on their attempts to make a play, RNG 1 for 3. RNG continue to be very active in the early game. T1, not so much. They're non-existent. They may try one gank here or one roam there, but RNG constantly continued to try and push the envelope in the early game, and it worked. So, Game 5. Game 5 was definitely the most one-sided game of this series. RNG punched them in the mouth early. Ming ends up being MVP because he punched them in the mouth early. Set the tone for Game 5 and was a key contributor on the Rakan. I had a tough time between Wei and him. I'm not going to lie. Wei played very well throughout the series, but I think Ming was the difference maker in Game 5. So there's a 2v2 kill at 2 minutes, and then they almost get another kill, but Ming tries to let Gala get it, and it's like, that thing that happens in solo queue as a support where you don't try and KS and no one gets a kill. So at 3 minutes, RNG then go mid. There's an exchange of kills. Then they go top. Then they go mid again. And the game slows down after 6 minutes. But RNG have already made 4 plays. RNG take an Ocean. They take an Infernal. Laning phase ends at 14 minutes. RNG up 4-1. 3k gold. Xiaohu is 2-0-1. 14 minutes, RNG go mid again. This is the 3rd time they've went mid already. They put Faker in a hole and left him there. The Ahri was useless. The Ahri was useless throughout this whole series, and we're going to get into that in a separate video, probably Tuesday. So at 15 minutes, T1 win a fight in top 1-0. RNG say, fine, well, when you're top, we're going to go to Mountain Soul Point. So they're at Mountain Soul Point. At 21 minutes, there's a trade of kills. One team getting a kill in bot, another team getting a kill in top. 22 minutes, RNG are up 6-3, 4K gold as we prepare for the Mountain Soul fight, which RNG win 4-0. Gala with a triple. Ming sets that up. Ming has a big play during that fight to ensure that RNG win it, and Gala ends up with a triple. As a result, they take the Baron off of that, an 8K lead, and then they end with the Baron 3-0 in mid, Ming with a double. So, final score 15-3. During laning phase of this one, RNG 1 for 3, T1 0 for 1. Throughout the entire series, RNG had attempted 16 plays in the laning phase that I consider a gank, roam, or dive, and 6 resulted in a kill advantage. T1 were 1 for 6. Clearly, that just shows how T1 were not trying to emphasize the early game, and that put them in a hole. They weren't able to actually take advantage of early game comps and things like that. RNG got 4 Barons. They ended the game on 1. T1 ended up with 1 and ended game 4 on a Baron. But the thing is with this series that I can't understand. So yesterday we go over how T1 seems to have answered the Galio situation by saying we are going to play Trist into it and we're going to punish you. And RNG gave them that opportunity in game 1, and instead of taking it, they go Caitlyn Morg bot lane, get level 1 killed, and lose the game slowly but surely throughout laning phase. They don't even really, they kind of recover, but not really. That lane's supposed to win. But, why? I would have picked Trist in the first rotation of first 3 picks and flexed it out because they were worried because they put Jace top. They didn't want to do complete AD. Well, you can put Trist in bot. That's still an option. And there was another thing, too. I don't know why they returned to Jace for Zeus in Game 5 after he could not win in Game 1 against Bin's Gwen. I would have banned the Gwen outright. The matchup that everybody was watching was GP Gwen, and by allowing, if once a GP is banned, you have to ban the Gwen, because the Jace is not the answer. And they fifth pick Jace, I believe. No, they 4-picked Jace, because they went Yuumi Game 5, which was an awful pick, too. I think T1, blue side was the strong side, but there were opportunities for them that they did not want to take. Clearly, towards the end of this series, you could see that Ahri was losing its luster because Lissandra was an answer to it. Tomorrow, Tuesday, tomorrow's video, somebody had suggested that I should do, an all-star team 1, 2, 3, all rookie team stuff. Tomorrow I'm going to do that, my MVP of MSI. But Tuesday I'm going to do a video breaking down the most common matchups like I've done for every patch thus far. Most of you were not around for that. But throughout Spring Split, I've taken the 4 most major regions, and I tracked within each patch what the most common matchups were to try and identify within a vacuum. Of course, there's thousands of variables that affect this, but how the meta and most common matchups change, how they compare to solo queue. And we look at MSI, and we look at this specifically. Lissandra over MSI all of a sudden became a pick and rumble stage a little bit, and the last few days became a big pick, a big answer to Ahri that was not there all tournament long. And they still picked it into the Lissandra and lost because of it. The Wukong started losing a little bit of value at times. The Viego did. There's very interesting things that weren't answered really by T1. I don't know why they drafted the way they did. I feel like there was an opportunity to be gained. To make things at least easier on red side than how they did it. I feel like they lost this series not only on the Rift, but I believe in draft as well. Game 1, that was not acceptable. I really think they should have. If it was Game 1, you should have picked the Trist and just flexed it if you needed to. I wonder if Guma doesn't play Trist. I haven't really paid attention too much. He might have played at MSI, but I want to see. Don't know what his stats are before I did this or whatever. But there were a lot of times where it was up and he chose something else, and he is a Jinx Aphelios guy or whatever, and Jinx was okay when he picked it. Like it was okay. But the Trist should have been something that they should have built around, I feel like, at least in game one to see what would have happened when they left the Galio up. So, nevertheless, comment down below. Do you think RNG won it? Do you think T1 lost it? How do you feel about the drafts? Do you think it was just blue side wins every game? Comment down below. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily league content. I hope a lot of you end up staying after MSI, but I understand if people want to jet. Like I said, the next 2 days I have 2 more MSI videos going out. I have my daily LPL series going on right now. I'm going to have other videos going over the minor regions as well throughout this, and the major. Every major region team is going to have its own video. The minor regions are just going to be me going over the minor region in general, power ranking the teams, how I think they'll do this summer, just looking at stats, because obviously I didn't watch them play outside of the top teams that represented their region at MSI, and maybe go over like the best players in each region or whatever, just to spark some conversation in the comments. But nevertheless, if you stayed this long, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me throughout MSI, subscribing to the channel, doing things like that. And I hope you come back for more content.